As long as you give them bread and circuses and a healthy dose of the left versus right paradigm lie, the sheep will never revolt. I'm not a doctor and I don't give medical advice, but it might be a good idea in this day and age where everybody's all fearful about their health to, I don't know, maybe boost your own immune system. So there might be a link in the description for you for something, I don't know what, that contains high potency ashwagandha, coenzyme Q10, and glutathione, along with high potency turmeric. And you might get a good deal on it with free shipping and all that. So check out the link in the description, and thank you, Ageless Body, for supporting this video. Somebody sent me this today, and I wanted to play it for you guys because when I see things like this, I understand why people vote for Donald Trump. And I understand why we're in the shape that we're in and what people see in Donald Trump, because it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. It's like, I want to get so far away from the left. These people have gone psycho. So I get that. But listen to how deceptive it is. And what I always listen for is what they don't say. What are they leaving out? Okay, I see what they want me to see, like they're dangling this thing in front of me, but back here they're not saying that the thing that's invisible that really needs to be said. So when I hear this kind of stuff, I try to listen up for what they didn't say, which is way more important than what they said. Because if they're being dishonest with you, they want you to look at things one way. There's only Republican or there's Democrat. You don't have any other choice. This is the way we got to go. If you want to save our country, if you want to save the economy, if you want to put us back on track, those kids back in school, you back to work, life back to normal, we need to listen to Donald J. Trump. I'm going to call him Donald Operation Warp Speed Trump. I mean, hey, own it. Own it, man. Donald $6.2 trillion Trump. Donald bailed out by the Rothschilds Inc. Trump. It's like when I talk about Brandon Tatum, it's Brandon soften him up Tatum. Because Brandon Tatum supports child abuse as long as the person who's abusing the child has the uniform on. I'm not going to be kind to these people because child abuse is serious. Economically, raping a country is serious. Being bailed out by the Rothschilds International Banking Cartel who hate you and your family's guts is serious. So I'm going to call it like it is. Hey, don't get offended. What do you have against Donald Trump? Oh, you mean Donald $6.2 trillion corporate bailout Trump? Or Donald bump stock ban Trump? Is that the Donald Trump that you were talking about? Donald Operation Warp Speed in the back pocket of Bill Gates Trump? Is that the Donald Trump that we're actually talking about? And then see how their tune changes. I would love to talk to Diamond and Silk. I would love to talk to Mark Dice. But for some reason, they don't want to give you the time of day. See, truth fears no scrutiny. I'll talk to anybody because if I'm wrong, I want to be corrected. I don't want to keep going down the wrong road. I don't want to keep going down the dark alley. I don't want to get pummeled in the head by facts that I'm denying, if that's the case. So listen to this.
Well, almost everyone.
Oops, I had it on mute.
Everyone's in on the Great Reset. Well, almost everyone. There's one guy who's got the power to do something to stop it, and you know exactly where I'm going. And they made a mistake. They tried to get Trump on their side, so they invited Donald Trump to Davos, I think a couple of times. But in January, when Donald Trump, I think, really began to see the beast that he was up against, he went to Davos, to the World Economic Forum, and he stuck a mega finger in their eye.
We're committed to conserving the majesty of God's creation and the natural beauty of our world. But to embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse.
I actually like what Trump just said right there. Whoever wrote that, I'm pretty sure Trump didn't write that, but I like what Trump just said right there. That was really good. Listen.
World. But to embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom.
Reject the perennial prophets of doom.
And their predictions of the apocalypse.
Yeah, because, the people like Al Gore saying, oh my God, we only have, or AOC, we only have 12 years left. The alarmist. The prophets of doom. Oh, what must we do, AOC? Just give us $93 trillion. We, the politicians, will fix everything. That makes no sense at all. So I like what Trump said right there.
These alarmists always demand the same thing, absolute power to dominate, transform, and control every aspect of our lives. We will never let radical socialists destroy our economy, wreck our country.
2 days after Donald Trump gave that speech, the 89-year-old leftist weirdo billionaire George Soros made an emergency intervention where, at Davos, once
And there's the antagonist. You have the protagonist, Donald Trump, and you have the antagonist, George Soros, the favorite fall guy of the conspiracy. Yes, he's an evil guy. Yes, he's an evil guy. But for you guys not to, for you to think that George Soros and Donald Trump aren't working a deal behind the scenes and don't really like each other, give me a break, man. You got your head in the sand. Free Slave just dropped a Ninja Guinea and says, absolute freedom. The truth is affecting my relationships, which everyone would open their eyes. I do too. I do too. And thanks for that diamond, Angel for Truth. When he talks about God, I want to vomit. I know.
again, warning that the
It's amazing how many Christians have gotten sucked in to the Donald Trump personality and hopped on the Trump train.
U.S. 2020 election will determine the, quote, fate of the whole world. Now, in the context of Davos, take a look at this one more time. This is a month after Donald Trump addressed Davos and stuck the MAGA finger in their face. Here's what Francis, the Vatican, and Jeffrey Sachs had to say in response.
And it is a dangerous country right now. It will be absolutely.
When I see a priest, all I can think of is pedophile. I'm just being honest. Whenever I see a priest, I just think pedophile. Priest, pedophile, it just all goes together.
Dangerous if Trump wins re-election. Trump wins re-election. Trump wins re-election.
Francis invited this guy to the Amazon Synod as an honored guest and advisor.
Pope, pedophile. Priest, pedophile. Just goes together.
He's also Bernie Sanders' advisor. What's he doing in the Vatican? Why is this guy who's a promoter for a socialist, out and out socialist, Bernie Sanders, what's he doing?
God, the evil these guys do behind closed doors, man. The crap that the Vatican is involved in. Oh my God, man. It's just piled to heaven.
Advising the Pope. Why does he have entree to the Vatican, friends? Sachs supports abortion and contraception, but that's not a problem for the Vatican.
Abortion and contraception, the very thing that Trump supported all of his Democrat life.
For the Vatican, for Pope Francis, and for his friends at the UN, Donald Trump is the problem, obviously, friends.
Clearly, I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world, but I regard it as a purely temporary phenomenon that will disappear in 2020.
Do you get it?
That guy is just reading a script, man.
Do you see why?
As powerful and wealthy as the George Soros, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk of the world are, as powerful and wealthy as they are still not the top of the food chain when it comes to the banking elite, guys. They are still not at the top of the food chain. They're still dangling from the puppet strings like the politicians are.
Why there's so much hate for Trump? Because with all of his faults, again, he's the capitalist. He's not the globalist. He'll never...
Trump is such a capitalist that he signed a $6.2 trillion corporate/banker bailout. That's not capitalism. That's fascism. That's fascism. That's the marriage of the corporate and the government entity with Steve Mnuchin behind him laughing. It's just...
will be one of them, which is why he pulled the United States out of the Paris Climate Agreement. Donald Trump pulled the United States...
Pulling the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement was a good thing.
It's out of the World Health Organization. That's Bill Gates and company. And now he's threatening to...
Bill Gates and company, who got a massive boost from the Donald Trump administration through Operation Warp Speed and through the marriage of government, the Trump administration to Gavi. Gavi was created by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Donald Trump is supporting Gavi and supporting Bill Gates through Operation Warp Speed. Not to mention Abbott Labs, not to mention Gilead Sciences, not to mention the big pharmas, the big biotechs. Guys, we're being railroaded.
Pull the United States
by
out of the
Donald
world.
Trump and all of his minions and the people above Donald Trump in the food chain.
World Trade Organization. People say, yeah, well, Donald Trump got married twice. He's a bad guy. Really? He's right in the face of the demons on this, friends. Nobody ever said he was a saint.
Well, he's not just in the face of the demons. He's dancing at the parties with the demons. Demons like Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Because of Donald Trump, the Clintons got a standing ovation after Donald Trump was, quote unquote, elected president. We know he was selected president. The guy who said, yeah, when I'm president, you'll be in prison. Clap for Bill and Hillary. I really respect them. They're great people. Fantastic people.
Knocking the sacred cows of the United Nations down all over the world right now.
The General Assembly routinely votes 185 against the United States on almost everything.
You know what? It almost seems like the bigger the cross that hangs around somebody's neck, the more corrupt the individual is, because they really want to go out of their way to get you to think that they are holy, that they are saintly, that they're righteous, that they're above board, that they're of high moral integrity and virtue. And we've seen historically, time and time again, nothing could be further from the truth. The more holy a person wants you to believe that they are, the more corrupt they end up being.
Right now.
And you remember, speaking of the United Nations, in November of 2019, again, right before COVID landed, Trump went to the UN, on the floor of the General Assembly, and he declared war on globalism.
Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots.
Says the globalist. Has anybody acted in more of a globalist fashion than Trump? Keep in mind that in 2017, when he got selected as president, he gave the military-industrial complex a 10% increase to $683 billion. A year later, 2 years later, in fiscal year 2020, that number went up to $721 billion in discretionary spending, not mandatory spending. Only $8.9 billion of that was mandatory spending. Trump gave the military-industrial complex a bigger increase than any president in the history of the United States, most of them combined. Over and above what Obama did. Over and above what the damage that Obama did. But, Obama's a bad guy and Trump, he's a patriot. And you're patriotic if you wear a mask, says Donald Trump.
Shortly after the speech at the UN, Donald Trump delivered, what do you think happened? The coronavirus was unleashed on the world, and Trump's booming U.S. economy went on life support.
We did not have a booming U.S. economy before the coronavirus. Do you know how we know? There's two ways we know. Before Trump got into office, he was calling for quantitative tightening, and he was condemning Obama for having the Fed do quantitative easing. When Trump got into office, Trump himself called for quantitative easing instead of the quantitative tightening that he said Obama should have done. That's number one. Quantitative easing tells you that the economy is on life support. There may be an illusion of prosperity. It may look like the economy is heating up and doing really well and it's white hot. Man, we're doing so good with the economy. But when the Federal Reserve is launching QE infinity and pumping liquidity into the market, that is a market on life support. Number two, lowering the interest rates to zero. Why the hell would you lower interest rates to zero if the economy's doing well? Why would you launch quantitative easing and lower interest rates to zero if the economy's doing good before the coronavirus? You wouldn't. Because the economy wouldn't support that, doesn't need that. We don't need your funny money. We're doing just fine without you, Federal Reserve. But the Federal Reserve is like, no, you're not. Roll the presses. Things are looking really bad here. And then after the coronavirus, Trump signed $6.2 trillion of your and my posterity's hard. Basically, he tapped in to the future time and laboring energies of unborn Americans to pay the corporate and banking cartel off. And that's just phase one, guys. There's way more trillions going to be piled in with our name on it. Thanks, tax cattle. Thanks, Americans. Donald Trump. That's called by the way, that's called socialism. That's not capitalism. Trump has made us more of a socialist country than we have ever been, even under FDR. We were socialist under FDR, don't get me wrong. He did America a bad deal. Bad deal. He sold us a bill of goods that we still haven't recovered from on that. But Trump is like, hey, FDR, here, hold my beer. You ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, I've never signed anything with a T on it before, he says. As Mitch McConnell and Goldman Sachs puppet Steve Mnuchin's back there going, can't wait to get on my $3 billion yacht. Thanks, Donald Trump. Meanwhile, we're gonna have to work that off unless somebody, people come together and unite and stop the tyranny. So this guy's all up Trump's ass for what? What's he leaving out? How come you're not mentioning the Federal Reserve? Oh, how come you didn't mention that Rothschild's Inc. bailed out Donald Trump in the 1990s to the tune of $675 million freaking dollars?
Do you think that was an accident?
Yep. I don't think anything's an accident.
So when they tell all of us to stay home, wear your mask so grandma doesn't get sick, please understand what's really going on here. They don't care about your grandmother. They don't care about old people, these people. They don't care about babies. They want them aborted so that they can save the common home. Abort babies, millions of them all over the world. They don't care about babies. They don't care about old people. In fact, if you want to save your grandma, tell the globalists to stay the hell away from her.
Okay, Trump, stay away from her. Trump's a globalist, guys. If you have a bump stock ban, that's a globalist. If you increase the coffers of the military-industrial complex for, the Zionists, that's a globalist. If you sign a $6.2 trillion check at the expense of future unborn generations, you're being a frickin' globalist. Or I'll tell you, how about this? Let me ask this question. How can you sign away 6.2 trillion American dollars and not be a globalist? How can you execute a bump stock ban and not be a globalist? How can you increase the coffers of the military-industrial complex and not be a globalist? There you go. Instead of me making a statement, I'll just ask a question. The burden of proof is, no, Trump's not a globalist. Okay, then why did he do this? Why is he acting like a wow? Don't globalists act like globalists and patriots act in the opposite fashion of a globalist? Interesting.
You remember how some of them, like Cuomo and characters like this, were running COVID recovering patients through nursing homes? That's how much they care about grandma. And the name of the game now is to bring the United States economy to its knees, get it out of the way.
And Trump has done everything to make that happen, guys. Our fellow Americans are sitting in food bank lines, miles-long food bank lines, to get food so that they can actually feed their families. That's called socialism. Bernie Sanders is just beaming red, wishing he would have been able to do that, but Donald Trump did it.
So that everyone will want the Great Reset. Make the new normal so intolerably abnormal that even you and I, maybe, at some point in the near future, will be begging for the vaccines because we'll be driven crazy by that point. Begging for whatever else is going to keep us safe according to our jailers and our handlers and our zookeepers. You see? That's what they want. That's why they keep using this term, new normal. You know what we do to fight back? Go to work. Go back to school. If you're healthy, take off the mask. And for heaven's sake, go back to church and pray that Trump wins in November. That's what...
Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. That's off the hook ignorance right there.
The reset was on. That's what the Russia hoax was all about.
What did that say? Worldwide Rosary Crusade? Catholics for Trump? A worldwide Rosary Crusade, Catholics for Trump. I would not want Catholics supporting me. Guys, if you're here's the deal. I'm not trying to. I'm forget it. I'm not even going to do a disclaimer. If you're part of the Catholic Church, you're a part of one of the biggest pedo religious organizations on the planet. Islam was founded by a guy named Muhammad, who was a freaking pedophile. He wanted to marry. I think he did marry an 8-year-old little girl. Come on, man. So you got pedophilia in Islam, and there's 1.1 billion people in Islam. You got about 1 billion people in Catholicism. That's pedo central right there. We know about them. I mean, you're talking about mass perversion. Not to mention, why are you praying to dead people? What's up with that? What's up with praying the rosary and doing all these crazy things? Don't try. These are men in robes who do disgusting things with little children. It's just disgusting, man.
The Russia hoax was all about. That's what the impeachment hoax was all about. Don't you see? For 4 years, they've been trying to stop this man, because if he strengthens America, if he makes it great again, if he brings the economy back again, the reset won't happen. The New World Order is going to be set way back. Who knows when they're going to have another COVID opportunity like this one again, and they know it. So ask yourselves why they hate this man. These folks, these men, they hate God. They hate the unborn. They hate the traditional family. They hate you. And they hate Donald Trump, whose political opponents, by the way, right now are knocking statues of saints to the ground. They're beating up cops.
They might hate Donald Trump, but they're using Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the useful idiot for the Zionist elite.
And they're burning flags.
Burning flags ain't a big deal, guys. People can burn flags all day. I know what's in the heart of people who burn flags are like, I'm against America, I'm against freedom. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. But burning flags is the last thing we need to worry about. What we need to concern ourselves about is, why don't we have sound money? Why is it every president who gets into office, the first thing he does is, hey, we're going on sound money. Precious metals backed or something backed sound money. Why? To constrain the power of the money manipulators. We have to take power away from the money manipulators. If you were president of the United States, that'd be the first thing that you would do. Because our primary problem in this world, the reason we can have wars, and the reason we can have the military-industrial complex, and the reason that we can have the prison-industrial complex, and the reason that AOC and Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz can make $174,000 a year writing laws that take away freedoms and take away our wealth, is because we have dishonest, unsound money. The very first thing you would do as a president of the United States would be, okay, we got to take care of this money situation, because I'm sick of having wars. We can't afford wars. We can't afford $26.5 trillion in debt, 150 if you count unfunded liabilities and Social Security and Medicare. We can't afford any of this stuff. We need to get our house in order. As long as I'm president, we're going to institute sound money. And then what we call true economic advisors, true Austrian economic and analysts. I would call on my staff, maybe Ron Paul or somebody from the Mises Institute, and get them to, how do we pull the rug out from under the bankers? That's the first thing. And then let's find out who the bankers are and bring them to a true worldwide televised trial and tell everybody what these people have done. And heat up the vats of tar and get the bags of feathers ready, and that's just the light side of what they're going to get. Unbelievable that people can just sidestep. So what didn't this guy talk about? He didn't talk about the bankers. He didn't talk about the fact that Trump is banker owned, bought, paid for, signed, sealed, and delivered. And when you don't talk about that, you're not talking about the real problem. If you haven't laid your axe at the root of the tree and you're just trying to just pick off little pieces of leaves, you're not doing anything. You will never do anything. You're going to be spinning your wheels. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.